Hello everyone, this is L5 and welcome to the Cobra Maggot toy review. And today's toy we're looking at the 1987 release by Hasbro of the G.I. Joe Vehicle and action figure review. And today's vehicle and action figure review we're looking at the Cobra Maggot and its driver, the Cobra W.O.R.M.S, which is acronym stands for Weapons Ordnance Rugged Machine Specialist. Now I got everything from what you see here complete without the box itself in eBay for a total cost of $50, which is kind of pricey actually, but it's quite difficult to get the Cobra Maggot and the Cobra W.O.R.M.S complete, especially for the Cobra Maggot itself, because the most common part that's prone to breakage and get lost will be the radar dish. And for the Cobra W.O.R.M.S itself, the most common part that is easily losable will be the antenna itself. So everything here you see cost me $50 now. So without further ado, let's begin our review by starting off with the Cobra W.O.R.M.S. Be right back. And we're back, and this time we'll take a look at the W.O.R.M.S. First things first, let's take a look at the file card. Now the file card has been cut out by the previous owner, and you can actually find the file card at the back portion of the Cobra Maggot's box packaging, and you can actually cut out as indicated at the cut out line at the edge of the file card itself. Now at the top section there's stated codename W.O.R.M.S with an asterisk. At the bottom section here there's one asterisk stating Weapons Ordnance Rugged Machine Specialist. He's also a Maggot driver. Here you got a nicer image of the W.O.R.M.S. Now in the write-up stated, W.O.R.M.S are self-propelled artillery specialists of the Cobra Ground Forces and are cross-trained within their blanket specialty. Any single W.O.R.M.S can man any position on a Maggot, be it driver, gunner, loader, or diesel mechanic. Under optimum conditions, a Maggot is manned by a crew of 4, commander, driver, gunner, and loader. Under battle conditions, it is possible for a Maggot to stay in action, maintaining fire capability with its crew reduced to 2. Now, from the write-up itself, it seems like the whole operations for the W.O.R.M.S and the Maggot is similar to a actual, operations to a real tank. Now at the bottom someone quoted, a battery of Maggots can receive a target information from a central fire control vehicle and is capable of firing guided and brilliant munitions, some of which are ECM resistant. ECM there has 2 asterisks at the bottom stated electronic countermeasures. Now continuing on, fire and forget, self-targeting and proximity fuse heat with triple asterisks at the bottom stated high explosive anti-tank. Now, a Maggot's crew doesn't have to think too hard, which is why the only requirement for being a W.O.R.M.S is the ability to walk while holding a boogie wheel under one arm and a 155mm shell under the other. Very nice. On the other side of the file card itself is actually, part of the cardboard box. Now move the file card one side. Let's take a look at the accessories for the W.O.R.M.S. Now it comes with a helmet and an antenna, which is technically one accessory, but the antenna is a separate piece, as you can see here, made of a dark brown plastic material color. Now I actually ordered a reissue part for this because it's quite expensive to actually get the antenna. The antenna is one of the most common part of the W.O.R.M.S accessory that tends to get lost. So an actual piece, actual vintage piece of the antenna would cost you at least $50. So I opted for a reissue, a reproduction from another seller, and it only cost me $10. It's still better than paying $50 there. So this antenna here is absolutely really small. Originally there's no paint job at all, just like the vintage antenna. So you got a little piece of antenna on the on this piece here, and on the side here there's a small little peg that's meant to plug in on the side of the W.O.R.M.S helmet, like so. Now for the W.O.R.M.S helmet itself is made of a brown plastic material color, like so. At the forehead here, there's a nice little Cobra logo. The eye holes there has been painted in black, and the face mask here, you'll notice the slits are painted in black. Each side of the Worms helmet is not painted at all. Very nice, very simplistic design, and that's all it is for the Worms accessory. And this is the only unique accessory for Worms. This is not a reused part. Now let's take a look at the Worms figure for his paint job. Now the entire figure is actually made of a brown plastic material color, which is painted on a lot of different areas. The head itself, the flesh tone skin, which is exposed, is painted. However, the eyebrows and the eyes are actually not painted. That's part of the plastic material color. Not too sure why. It looks kind of weird to see, well, a figure with brown eyes and brown eyebrow. Now the shoulders here, as you can see, is painted with, I would say, a little bit dull yellow, a little bit of yellowish brownish color with red stripes. The belt here is painted in black all the way to the back. Even at the chest area here is also painted with a little bit of yellow there. And of course he has medals. The medals has been painted in red and gold. Very nice. The gloves has been painted in yellow as well, very dull yellow. And the belt has been painted in black all the way to the back and to the sides as well. Belt buckle has been painted in silver. Holster has been painted along with the gun itself in black paint job. The kneecap here has been painted in dull yellow, and at the bottom section of the legs itself, the entire boots has been painted in black. The brown stripes there is actually part of the plastic material color. The blade here has been painted in silver. Very nice. Despite that it's a 1987 figure, there's actually quite a nice number of detail paint job for this figure, as you can see now. Very nice. Now for the figure's mold, everything you see here, the body parts has not been reused. The body part is unique only to the Worms figure, which is very good. Furthermore, the details for the Worms figure is absolutely good. Now you got the head there, which exposed, well, half of the face there. You got the jacket itself with the collar molded on, very nice. A bit of scarf there inside. The shoulder pads here, very nice. The uniform looks like a, well, looks similarly like a, well, actual military uniform, because on one side here there's also medals. Very nice. Got the belt there as well. So that's the waist at the waist there. There's a belt. At the belt buckle there's a cross cowl. Very nice. On the side here, the belt extends all the way to the gun holster, which is molded onto the legs itself with the gun. And at the bottom section of the boots itself, as you can see, there's straps and also a blade. Very nice. It's a pity that the figure doesn't come with an accessory of a pistol and a knife though. It would be nice to actually come with that. Let's take a look at the figure's articulation. Now this is a, well, 1987 action figure, so the articulation is limited. So the head actually can pivot down, back, side to side a little bit, and turn left and right, like so. Now the torso here is made of an O-ring. It actually hooks onto the torso, and at the bottom there's a small little hook at the hips there. So you can actually turn left and right, back and forward, or side to side, but you cannot turn 360 degrees, otherwise you'll stamp the O-ring rubber band. Shoulder joints here can turn 360 degrees and lift the shoulders this high. Elbow joint here can bend this far and turn 360 degrees. There is no wrist joint. Hips here can move forward, side a little bit, cannot go back, and knee joint here can bend this far. Now let's fully equip the Worms with the helmet. Since there's only one accessory, Now the figure looks quite nicely done. I actually have a few of these worms because they actually look quite nice despite the brown color though. It does look like a, I would say, well, minus the helmet, it does look like an actual military uniform. Very nicely done. Though lacking the accessory and the funny looking helmet, the figure is not bad. If I'm gonna give a rating on this, I'll give it a nice 8 out of 10. Yes, 8 out of 10 for the worms. Next up, let's take a look at the Cobra Maggot. Be right back. And we're back, and this time we'll take a look at the Cobra Maggot a bit. First things first, let's take a look at the instruction manual. Now the instruction manual is rather huge, as you can see here. It's actually 2-page. So the first page here shows you images of the Cobra Maggot in top-down view, front view, and side view. Here we have a listing of all the technobabble, listing out all the Cobra Maggot's details. Now the rest of the pages itself is actually an instruction manual on how to assemble the Cobra Maggot, except for the last page here, which is already cut into half because the bottom section here is, well, an instruction on where to place all the sticker decals. Now speaking of the sticker decals here, I really removed the original sticker decals on the Cobra Maggot when I got in this vehicle, because a lot of the sticker decals were not properly aligned, and some of the sticker decals also starts to peel off. So I have to remove everything, clean up the entire Cobra Maggot, and then purchase a reproduction stickers from cobrastickers.com, because it actually comes with additional few more, well, customizable stickers, as you can see there. So the new stickers are actually much better actually. Now let's take a look at the colors being applied onto the Cobra Maggot itself. Now bear in mind this is a 1987 vehicle toy, so absolutely no paint job being applied onto the vehicle itself. Everything you see here is all pure plastic material color. Now the body itself, even at the bottom, the body, the turret, and the back portion of the Cobra Maggot is made of a, I would say, gray plastic material color. More towards to a little bit bluish, but it's actually gray. Even the wheels at the bottom is also made of the same plastic material color. Now for the tracks itself, each side of the vehicle itself actually has tracks. There's one here, the other side there's another one, totaling all 4, and they're all made of a black plastic material color. Now the large artillery gun, as you can see here, the radar dish, and the connector point in the middle is made of a dark gray plastic material color. And for the rest of the parts, we have the artillery cannon's barrel, we have the joint itself at this portion here, this laser cannon here, the laser cannon on the front as well, and 4 of the joints, as you can see here, two from this side, two from the other side, are made of a yellow plastic material color. Now before I do anything, let's detach this first so I can show everyone the details of the Cobra Maggot, and then we'll go into the features. Now the Cobra Maggot itself, this is the front portion of the cab or the car itself. Now let's take a close look on the tracks. We have 4 wheels there, and there's actually rivets inside the wheel, very nicely done. You got the track going on and engine parts inside the, well, the tracks. Same goes on the other side. Here we have a laser gun there, and there's a bit of a armor piece here. There's also another laser cannon on the top here, a radar dish on the top, on the side. As you can see, there's a lot of nice plating, rivets. As you can see, wirings that connect to this part here, very nice. Here is where the driver sits, and inside the seating itself there's a bit of details on the armrest there. There's buttons and also a small little joystick, very tiny little joystick, so that's on the other side as well. Very nicely done actually. The figure sits inside, and here we have an engine cover. Got nice little details on the engine cover, rivets as well, and you can actually pull out the engine cover. On the other side of the engine cover is nothing special. However, as you can see, this is where the details really shine. More engine panels, rivets, and here is the shell for the cannon. I would assume the cannon for this cannon itself, and rather not the huge cannon, because as you can see, this one is a connector point. It doesn't actually feed the ammo shells directly to the connector itself. So when people say that they shoot laser and everything, then how are you going to explain something like this? It's actually quite nice with the details there. And if you actually have the time or the patience, you can actually paint them and they look even more better. The back portion here is the connector point. There's a bit of rivets as well. Now, we're gonna remove the turret itself. Here we have the entire barrel of the gun itself. Very intimidating. Lots of rivets, pistons, very nice. Inside of the turret itself, we have gas canisters. Very nice. More panelings, control systems. On one side here, there's a small little TV screen there for the gunner to view. Got the seating inside. As you can see, there's a bit of armrest with buttons as well. There's also another seating here, and there's a handle. As you can see, this one, the handle is a bit, I would say, worn out. It's about to break sooner or later, so I try not to, well, touch it. But basically, the figure can actually hold on to it, because he can also see the screen on one side here as well. And this is actually the legs itself, but I'll show the full details later on. I'm gonna put this one side first. We'll continue on to the last portion of the vehicle part. We've got the tracks as well, 4 wheels, similar design but not exactly the same, as you can see here. Very interesting. Very nice. Here is where all the details comes in. The moment you remove the turret, there's a lot of engine parts here, as you can see, and this is a small little screen with a keyboard as well. This is most probably a communication device. More toggles, and this is where the figure stands. There's a smaller hatch here, so like a actual real tank, some tanks actually has a bottom hatch so they can open and exit from the bottom. There's a pig here, very nice. It's a pity that the bottom section of the vehicle don't have any details at all, and I have to apologize the amount of yellow on the plastic itself, because due to the dust that covered onto the vehicle itself, thanks to the previous owner. Very nicely done with the details. There's also a bit more pegs here on this platform for more figures to stand on. Very nice. Now to connect the maggot. Very nicely done. Now the details is very nice. The colors is alright. I just don't really like the bright yellow there, but the details on the vehicle is absolutely gorgeous. Now let's take a look at the vehicle's features. Now the front portion of the vehicle itself, the gun here can turn left and right. Here we have its laser cannon, which is articulated because thanks to this joint itself, which can swivel 360 degrees. I'm going to move this all the way up 360 degrees and pivot all the way to the back like so, or all the way to the top, bottom like so. Now the radar dish can swivel 360 degrees, but the problem is this has been glued by the previous owner, because the radar dish is the most common piece that tends to break off quite easily, so it's quite a pity there. Now we have the cannon itself, which aims forward or all the way to the top. Very nice. And then we have the turret here that turns 360 degrees. I'm going to move like so. It doesn't actually hook onto anything for the turret, as you can see. Very nice. Now, The Maggot's gimmick is that it can actually detach into 3 different parts. So this is the connector point, but you already seen it earlier on anyway, so all you have to do is just disconnect it. And as you notice, the connector point for this part can actually go left and right. The other one doesn't go anywhere, but it can turn 360 degrees, as you can see that. So when these 2 vehicles does connect together, like I'm going to show right now, as you can see, it can actually bend down or up or go side to side like so. So I'm going to pull this out first. We got the light attack vehicle. We got the wheels at the bottom that doesn't roll that well anyway. Gonna move this one side. We have the gun placement or weapon platform, artillery platform, where you have to fold the legs down like so. And finally, this is just like that. Nothing really that special. Very nice. Now I'm going to put back the vehicle in its original positioning first, so we can place in the figures. Now let's place in the Maggot figure onto the driver's seat itself. As you can see, it actually sits all the way in. Very nice. And at the back portion here, you can place in another figure. Like so. I'm gonna move it up for everyone to see. As you can see that. Very nice. And the final figure, I also have another Worms figure, but this one doesn't come with a helmet. I'll just have him sit like so. Now the Maggot tank, or artillery tank, is fully loaded with three operators. Very nice. Now you must be wondering, does it fit with the new 25th or 30th anniversary figures? Actually, yes, they do. Because due to the room of the seating itself, there's a lot of room inside. You can actually fit in the new figures. I have next to me the 30th anniversary Cobra Viper, and all you have to do is just place the figure inside. As you can see, there's so much room inside. You can also place another Cobra Viper here into the seating here. Bend the legs more so it will actually sit in. Very nice. Very nicely done. So yes, the Cobra Maggot is compatible to fit in your 30th anniversary figures or 25th anniversary figures, and the entire vehicle is rather huge, as you can see for the size comparison itself. Rather huge indeed. So if I'm going to give a rating about the Cobra Maggot itself, the problem with this vehicle is that it's quite difficult to complete it unless you buy really a complete set of the Cobra Maggot, but you have to pay a lot of price for it. And most of the time, you want a cheaper Cobra Maggot, you end up having, well, a missing radar dish. And if you want the Cobra Maggot to have the Cobra Worms, it will have this missing antenna as well. So it's quite difficult to get the Cobra Maggot nowadays complete and affordable with every part is there, unless you're willing to pay more than, well, several $100s, which is, I would assume, not everyone is willing to do that. But if you don't mind having a missing radar dish or missing antenna, then the vehicle still works very well, especially if it fits newer figures. Very nicely done. So if I'm going to give a rating on this, the last note is that I really don't like the bright yellow color, but still, I give it a nice 9 out of 10. Yes, 9 out of 10 for the Cobra Maggot. And I thank you all for watching. This is Lucy05 and I'm signing off.